So this is part 2 to section 8.1 with geometry. I would like you to pause this and I want you to do 1 through 4. I know I have them repeated on here, the same thing on top and bottom. If you want to draw the pictures more than once, so draw the picture, actually draw this picture 4 times, that's helpful, and then you can draw on it each time so you can keep it separate. You can use different colors, but be careful between the union and intersection. Union is your trash can, includes everything. Intersection is upside down, it includes what's the same. Once you're done doing the 4, and you may make a mistake, press unpause and listen to what I have to say. So I only have 2 different drawings, but I am going to be able to draw another one if I'd like to, and I'm just going to show you another alternative here on the side as well of how you could do it. First thing we got to be careful on is what is this? It's a union, so we're including everything. So this is an all, if it helps you to write down the words. This is the line DE, so if I were drawing it on all of them, I would draw it here. But I'm going to go ahead over here, and I'm going to draw it exactly what it looks like over there. So I have my D and my E on there. So I'm not drawing the whole picture right now. On the second one, I have a half line starting at B, which is here in the middle, and it goes towards, E, which is, be careful, on the bottom. So we have now, we want the union. Union says include everything, so I can look at this drawing and I can shade it in, and now I've included a line, DE. I do think, especially on my math lab, because you're not going to be doing several of them with the same, you're going to get a different problem, I would draw out the full sketch for each one, but I just wanted to give you some other alternatives here by being able to do them. So I'm going to do my second one on the actual drawing again. So number 2, I have the ray BE. I start at B, so I'm going to color it in so it's really clear, and I go towards E. And I am doing the union with the line segment BD. The line segment BD means start at B, and we're going to color it in as well, and I'm just kind of doing it to the side so it's super clear. And union, be careful again, union is my trash can. I can put everything in it, so I want everything that's colored in. So notice I start at D, and it's included because both of them have a dot, and I am towards an arrow of E. I'm going to use this bottom drawing here now to do the last 2. So I'm doing this one now. I have the open segment, and again, I want you to use the correct terminology to help you with later problems. I have the open segment AC, so I'm starting at A, going to C, and I have the open segment BE, which would be open segment here, and make sure it's really clear if you're including it or not. This is the intersection. It's saying what's the same. The only possibility for this would be right here. That's the only spot that they overlap. And one of them is open, one of them is closed. So my answer here is empty set. If you have to pause and rewind and listen to me saying it again, please do that. So just for ease, I'm going to erase it off of here. I'm going to take for number 4, I'm going to take the line segment FB. So it's closed at F and closed at B. And I have a union which says include everything. And I'm going to start at B, and I'm going to go towards G, and it's going to be a close there. So I have no arrows on this one. Intersection would be what's the same, and that would be the point there. But union says everything that's colored in, and it's really easy to flip-flop those 2. So now I'm starting at F with a closed circle above it, and I'm going towards G. That's my other endpoint, and it's a closed circle there. So I have the line segment FG. These problems are easy to mess up on if you don't draw your pictures. Please draw your pictures on there and slow down and ask yourself if it's a union or intersection. So the new part for this video is going to be getting into our 3-dimensional. So we just finished our two-dimensional. We're going to go to our plane, which is 3-dimensional. And the first 2 you need to distinguish between is our parallel line and our skewed line. Both of them do not intersect. But difference is the parallel line are lines in the same plane that do not intersect. Skewed lines are not in the same plane and do not intersect. So both of these, the intersections, are empty set. So for both of these, but the difference is if they're in the same plane. So remember plane, like, again, we have a box here, and I know it's drawn to where it's just a side of a box, but the plane would be infinitely in those directions. So if I were to look at this one and I wanted to say parallel lines, I could use this first box on the front just because of what they have labeled on here. And I have this line here that they have drawn, and I could use this line here that are drawn. Those would be parallel lines because they're on the same plane. If I wanted skewed lines, I'm going to still use that one that they had on the bottom labeled, which was the green one here. And this line. So CD and AB are skewed lines because one is on the front of the box and one is on that side of the box. They do not intersect and are not in the same plane. Going to number 3 idea for planes. It's very similar to what we talked to about when lines. When we separated a line, we separated it with a point. In this case, when we're in the 3-dimensional, now we're going to go and split it by a 2-dimensional piece. So we're going to take that plane, and we're going to split it into 2 parts. And again, I'm going to draw right now just a general plane, and I'm going to split it with a line. And so notice before we got a half line and we had it starting open, now we have 2 half planes. So we have a plane on the left and we have a plane on the right. So, and again, separates it with a line itself, and so we get 3 things. We get the line itself and 2 half planes going in the left and right direction, but it would go indefinitely in those 2 directions. Number 4, again, is a very similar idea of when we talked about a line. So when we had the line, we needed 2 points to determine a line, and we said 2 collinear points. When we had it before for a plane, we said we needed 3 non-collinear points to label that plane. So we had an A, B, and C. Number 4 is taking the same exact interpretation, but it is now defining it not as 3 points, but it's now designated it as when we use a line and a point that is not on the line. So notice it's still really non-collinear because one of them has to not be on that line. So this determines a unique plane. Same idea as 3 non-collinear points. Anytime you need to pause, rewind to catch up with an idea, please do that. Number 5, we have intersections of 2 planes. So when we have 2 planes, I'm going to kind of try to use this drawing here just to kind of give you, it's easier a lot of times to do this idea in person, but if I look at this one here, if I talk about the pink plane and the blue plane on that rectangular solid, the pink and blue plane do not ever intersect. They are what's called parallel planes because they're never going to cross. So this would be the front and the back, or the left side and the right side of that rectangular solid that would keep going but don't intersect. So that's an extreme case. B is the plane itself. So if I had a plane and I had multiple points, I could call this plane ABC. I could call this plane CDE. So remember, we just needed 3 points that were not in there. So we could actually have it where it extended, knowing it extends in all the directions, that the points are just in a different spot. So this is also an extreme where they actually end up matching. We just use different letters to label it. And what I kind of say a lot of times is a more common one would be a line where they intersect. So if you look at, again, this rectangular solid up here, where we got the pink and the blue, if I used the blue plane, which is going on the right side of the box, and I used the bottom of the box, those are 2 different planes. And where they intersect, if they were to go indefinitely in both directions, is they would intersect at this bottom right corner side of the rectangular box, and it would create a line when we have that piece. So the bottom of the box, if we kept going, so like the ground, if we sat it on the ground, and the right hand side of the box, and think about those. they intersect at a line. That's what would be the same there. A lot of times you're going to find the very first section of every chapter is going to be a lot of definitions, but they're really important for you to have down for the rest of the chapter. So we're going to now go to angles. When we talk about angles, angles are going to be a union of two non-collinear rays. So meaning that, again, if we had two collinear rays, they would actually could create the same ray. We want them to go in a different direction with a common endpoint. We have this top ray, and we have this bottom ray, and they intersect and include a common endpoint. So we would actually, when we were labeling them, we would actually use letters A, B, C. B is my vertex, and it has to be in the center when you write it out. So you could say angle CBA, or you could say angle ABC, but notice that the vertex is in the center. When we are measuring the part of the plane in the interior of the angle, will be that measurement. And we generally, in this class, measure in degrees, but if you were to take trig, you're going to measure things in radians, and sometimes you'll go on in math, measure them in gradients as well. So a lot of these definitions y'all are already going to know, but we're just going to remind ourselves. So an acute angle means that it's less than 90 degrees. My angle, and let's just call it x, is going to be bigger than 0 and less than 90. The way I like to remember this one is think of the word cute, and cute is small. My right angle is going to mean that it is equal to 90 degrees. This creates a corner. An obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees. So my angle, let's call it x, would be greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. So it's bigger than that corner, but not equal to 180s, which is be a straight line, which is our last one here. So our straight line, it equals 180 degrees. This would be a straight line. Going to our pairs of angles, we're going to have what's called adjacent angles. And I'm going to start with the picture. Adjacent angles mean that they're going to touch, but they don't have any common interior points. They have a common side, so common vertex and side, but no common interior points. Vertical angles are going to be really helpful in some of our drawings. We have vertical angles, or what I like to call as more like, I actually say they're opposite angles, but like you have two lines that intersect. These two that I just labeled in green would be a vertical angle. These two that I just labeled in purple would be vertical angles. This would have non-adjacent angles formed when two lines intersect. Non-adjacent angles formed when two lines intersect. Important piece for vertical angles is that the vertical angles will be congruent, meaning they have the same measurement. Complementary angles are going to create, again, I like to think of this word, complementary, the sum will be 90 degrees. They will always create a corner. So easy to remember, complementary is corner, corner is a 90 degrees. So they will be adjacent angles, meaning they're touching, but they will create that box that tells us in a drawing that it's 90 degrees. And our next one here is our supplementary angles. Supplementary goes with the word straight, and straight angles from above says that they're 180 degrees, but since we're dealing with pairs of angles, this would be the sum is 180 degrees. So I would have a straight line that's split with a ray, and it creates two adjacent angles that create that straight line will give you a sum of 180 degrees. And we will definitely use some of these in some word problems and in some drawings to find the measurements of what they have. So we're going to finish this video by looking at some a drawing here and coming up with some examples of these. And again, if you want to pause them and try to come up with them, there's definitely more than one answer for these pieces, but go ahead and try to come up with some and then come back and see what we say. But you've got to know what the definition means. So an acute angle, remember, is a small angle. So if I'm looking at this drawing, I could use FOA, angle FOA. So I could do this because I can see that that's a smaller angle, but there's multiple ones in here I could use. Obtuse angle, I'm going to use the one that actually is labeled on this drawing. I am going to use angle FOD because it's, again, larger. Right angle means that it is creating a box at corner. So that would be angle BOD. A straight angle would be, again, creating a straight line. So my straight line, it could use any of these three straight lines. I could go just straight across here, which would be angle F, O, and C. Start at F, O, and then C. A pair of adjacent angles, which again, remember, means that they're touching. So I'm going to use FOA. And if I use FOA, which is here, I actually have two ideas I could use. I could use that angle FOE, or I could use AOB. Doesn't matter. Angle AOB. Or I could use the FOE. Complementary means it creates that that corner. Just to clarify this piece a little bit more, I'm going to erase those off of it. This was my corner that I had, and we have two angles that are adjacent for that. So I'd have angle BOC and angle COD. Supplementary would create a straight line, and there's like multiple pieces here, but we want pairs. So again, there's multiple ways you could do this. I am going to use FOD, angle FOD, and if I use that angle, then I would need to use COD because I need it to create that straight line here. So FOD and DOC or COD. Remember that the vertex has to be in the center. And my vertical angles, again, I'm going to erase this. So if anytime you need to pause it and rewind it, please do that. So vertical angles, remember, are created by two lines intersecting. So if I use these two lines, I have angle AOB, which is the top one here. This is going to be a vertical angle with EOD. We're going to pick up again with some examples here on part 3 video.